Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the next video. Today I woke up at 5:20. At 5:44 I was outside, and at 5:48 there was sunrise. So I woke up before sunrise. I would say for the last year I never woke up at this time, especially on Sunday, sorry, without any reason. So today just something rare happened. All right, we're gonna continue our reading journey, and yeah, today is the third part of of a municipal report. So let's begin. Nashville occupies a foremost place among the manufacturing centers of the country. It is the fifth boot and shoe market in the United States, the largest candy and cracker manufacturing city in the South, and thus an enormous wholesale dry goods, grocery, and drug business. I must tell you how I came to be in Nashville and assure you the digression, digression brings as much tedium to me as it does to you. I was traveling elsewhere on my own business, but I had a commission from a northern literary magazine to shop over there and establish a personal connection between the publication and one of its contributors, Azalea Adair. Adair, there was no clue to the personality except the handwriting. Had sent in some essays, lost art, and poems that had made the editors swear approvingly over their 1 o'clock luncheon. I forgot the word. So they had commissioned me to round up, said Adair, and corner by contract has or her output at 2 cents a word before some other publisher offered her 10 or 20. At 9 o'clock the next morning, after my chicken livers and bruschetta, try them if you can find that hotel. I strayed out into the drizzle, which was still on for an unlimited run. At the first corner, I came upon Uncle Caesar. He was a stalwart negro, older than the pyramids, when with gray wool and a face that reminded me of Brutus, and a second afterwards of the late King Siriwayo. Okay. He wore the most remarkable coat that I ever had seen or expect to see. It reached to his ankles and had once been a Confederate gray in colors, but rain and sun and age had so variegated it, so that Joseph's coat beside it would have faded to a pale monochrome. I must linger with that quote, for it has to do with this story that is so long in coming because you can hardly accept anything to happen in Nashville. Once it must have been the military code of an officer. Once it must have been the military code of an officer. The cape of it had vanished, but all a down, something new, probably something old. I mean the word probably is old. It's but all down its front. It had been frogged, and tasseled, tasseled magnificently. But now the frogs and tassels were gone. In their stead had been patiently staged. I surmised by some surviving black mummy. I surmised by some surviving. Had been patiently stitched new frogs made of cunningly, cunningly twisted, common hemp and twine. This twine was frayed, disheveled, and disheveled. Okay. It must have been added to the cord as a substitute for vanished splendors, splendors, and tasteless, with tasteless but painstaking devotion. Painstaking devotion, remember this. For it followed faithfully the curves of the long missing frogs, and to complete the comedy and pathos of the garment, all its buttons were gone, save one. The second button from the top alone remained. The coat was fastened by other twine strings tied through the buttonholes and other holes rudely, probably I know the word, pierced in the opposite side. There was never such a weird garment, so fantastically bedecked, and of so many mottled ho- hues. Mottled hues. Mottled hues. The lone button was the size of a $half, made of yellow horn and sewed on with the twine, coarse twine. This negro stood by a carriage so old that Ham himself might have started a hack line with it after he left the ark, with the two animals hitched to it. As I approached, he threw open the door. He threw open the door, drew out a lizard duster, waved it without using it, and said in deep, rumbling tones. Rumbling. Step right in, sir. Ain't a speck of dust in it. Just back from funeral, sir. I inferred that on such gala, gala occasions, carriages were given an extra cleaning. I looked up and down and the street and perceived that there was little choice among the vehicles for hire that lined the curb. I looked in my memorandum book for the address of Azalea Adair. I want to go to 861 just Jessamine Street, I said, and was about to step into the hack. But for an instant, the thick, long, gorilla-like arm of the old negro barred me. On his massive and saturnine face, a look of sudden suspicion and enmity, enmity flashed for a moment. Then, with quickly returning convention, he asked bland, blandishingly, blandishingly, "What are you going there for, boss?" "What is that to you?" I asked, a little sharply. "Nothing, sure, just nothing. Only it's a lonesome kind of part of town, and and for and a few folks ever has business out of there. Step right in. The seats is clean. Just go back from funeral, sir." A mile and a half it must have been to our journey's end. I could hear nothing but the fearful, fearful rattle, fearful rattle of the ancient hack over the uneven brick paving. I could smell nothing but the diesel, now further flavored with the coal smoke and something like a mixture of tar and oleander blossoms. All I could see through the streaming window were two rows of dim houses. The city has an area of 2 square miles, 181 miles of streets, of which 137 miles are paved, a system of waterworks that cost 2 millions with 77 miles of mains. 861 Jessamine Street was the decayed mansion, was a decayed mansion. Decayed mansion. 30 yards back from the street it stood, outmerged in a splendid grove of trees and untamed shrubbery, untrimmed shrub, shrubbery. A row of box bushes flowered and almost hid the piling fence from sight. The gate was kept closed by a rope noose that encircled the gate post and the first piling of the gate. But when you got inside, you saw that 800, 861 was a shell, a shadow, a ghost of former grandeur and excellence. Grandeur. But in this story, I have not yet got inside. When the hag had ceased from rattling, and the weary quadrupeds came to a rest, I handed my Jehu. So many words in this part. I handed my Jehu his 50 cents with an additional quarter, feeling a glow of conscious generosity as I did so. He refused it. He refused it. Alright, guys, that's probably enough for today, and see you tomorrow on the next part. Bye.